Battleborn is all about killing creatures from outer space and has an interesting mix of traditional shooter elements and a MOBA-style level-up system. Tweaking your skill tree and perfecting your combat tactics is going to be mighty tempting for those who love intergalactic battles. But the real draw is the characters. Gearbox thinks you're going to dig the crazy personalities more than anything else. And considering these are the people who wrote Borderlands, they may not be far off. The setup is as bleak gets. Trillions of stars have been darkened by some nasty aliens. So every spacefaring race around soars to the last habitable place in the universe to crack some skulls and plenty of jokes.
Initiating decryption sequence.
Ow! That's not what decryption means!
You see, humor is the best way to deal with a problem, even one as terrible as the end of all known life. The irreverent humor Gearbox is known for is here in spades, bringing levity to the bloodshed. If you're more concerned with fighting than bonding, there are plenty of ways for you to flex your trigger finger. Battleborn is played from a first-person perspective, and there are certainly characters who specialize in down-the-sight shooting if that's your bag. But what makes Battleborn interesting is how many diverse skills there are. Take Wrath. He's one serious swordsman, and he would rather get in close than pepper enemies from afar like a coward. And then you've got Thorn, a space elf with a bow, and the profiteer Marquise, who keeps an owl in his top hat. We recently got to see these characters in the cooperative campaign for the first time. The campaign is broken up into stages, which is pretty different from the open world of Borderlands, and missions last about a half hour. You and 4 friends team up to complete objectives, such as killing enemies over here, or sometimes over there. The diversity comes from the enemy types more than the objectives. You see the same creature team that worked on Borderlands is designing enemies here, so hopefully there are plenty of baddies to fight in Battleborn. The levels are also supposed to inject some variety. We saw one that goes from jungle to desert to Golden Ruins, and the other we saw was described by Gearbox as Gothic Tron. Gearbox has borrowed the leveling up system from MOBAs. At the start of every map, in both competitive and cooperative, everyone starts at level 1. Yes, even the people who have sunk hundreds of hours into the game. Every couple of minutes, you gain a level, and you choose between 2 upgrades. Do you want a red dot sight or a scope? It's your choice. You get to see the breadth of your character's abilities in each match. And then in the next match, you can choose different skills if you want to mix things up. There is some meta scaling as well. Although your character is static, your profile gains experience, and you can use that to gain a slight advantage over newbies. Instead of just having 2 options when you level up, you can swap in a third choice, which can be really handy if you don't care about a red dot sight or a scope. We recently got another look at the competitive mode, though everything we said about stages and skill trees applies here as well. What doesn't apply is who you fight. Instead of squaring off against the mean Varelsi, Incursion mode has 2 teams of 5 people each. Here the objectives cycle through, so you may need to go from, say, controlling points to killing fools. All in a day's work for a space warrior. Battleborn is drawing inspiration from tons of places. It's got the personality of Team Fortress 2, the melee expertise of Dishonored, and the humor of Futurama. There's even a nod to Left 4 Dead with the whole cooperative play narrative dynamic. But these pieces come together to form a very different beast. Gearbox wants to entertain us. They want to keep us laughing and shooting. The team is off to a good start from what little we've seen. We'll have to wait until next year to find out if we're smiling along with the Battleborn developers. For more on Battleborn, keep it on IGN.